So, in a recent video, I talked about how there was only two creature sets introduced in 2009 Bionicle. I was wrong about that. I forgot the most important one, the little guy. Okay, he's not really the most important, but he is an interesting little build nonetheless. And as something that's sort of a poly bag, I guess it's definitely interesting. It came with the old Brickmasters subscription or what have you, so definitely weird. I don't really care for it all that much, so I decided I would go ahead and make it better myself. If you like this type of video, by the way, make sure you're subscribed. It really does help out the channel, but let's go ahead and show off the build that I came up with really quick. Wait, nope, that's not the right one. Hold on. I got this. There he is. I love it. It's so cool. And it's a little more refined, I guess, which is probably not the best term to use. But I just wanted to make something that was a little more beetle-like, a little more animal-like, that felt more appropriate. Because that build, to be honest, it leaves a lot to be desired. Now, granted, again, being a polybag, it's totally understandable why it is so few pieces compared to something like this, which is far more, obviously. But I love the head build on this, for one thing. And honestly, LEGO could have very easily done a head build just like this with little extra parts. It's still a really cool set nonetheless, and I quite adore it. But surprisingly not quite as big as the official model. So it's not really what the video itself is about, but I wanted to go ahead and start the video off with something kind of interesting. Rather, wanted to talk a little bit about 2023 as a whole and going into 2024, right? Because it is officially New Year's Eve here, which means I'm going to be up all night, like hearing other people firing fireworks, surely. But no, either way, it has been such a different year compared to so much that has already compared to any other outside of just YouTube stuff in general. I didn't think that this is the direction the year was going to go. I'm very happy for it, of course, but putting out my first Lego Ideas set, which you can go support, by the way, that'll be in the description as well. We're at 130 supporters, but anyway, outside of that, also, just the direction of everything. I set out a goal at the beginning of the year to try and hit 200 Rahimoks by the end of the year. I'm at 199, so I've got to crank out one more build before midnight tonight, apparently. But I'm so happy with it because it's just been insane to think about, right? The Discord's been growing like crazy. The channel's been growing here like crazy. Instagram's been growing like crazy, and so you guys have been wonderful, honestly. And it's just been an adventure. Let's call it that. I don't know what else to call it. I guess I'm in the adventure mood since I'm doing this whole Sky Pirate thing. So into the new year, my plans are to continue working on the Bar Magna expansion project because, of course, right, I am currently modeling a helmet for one of the figures to wear. It's actually a dual-sided helmet, so it's going to be used on probably two figures. But really happy for it. Part of it is going to be for the Raptor build, which I hinted at in the last video. In fact, I talked about it more fully there. So I'd suggest checking that one out. But overall, yeah, I think one of the other big things that I want to do this year is learn. And that, I think, is pretty vague. But in general, right, whether it's learning when it comes to more skills in Blender, I picked that up this year for one thing. And that's always been fun. And I loved 3D modeling and stuff like that back in the 2010s and stuff, but I used a different program because it was for school. And this is so different from any of that, right? And so that's one area where I want to try and improve. And of course, I want to try to improve upon, well, the channel as well, right? There are, as I've mentioned plenty of times, certain restrictions in terms of the way that I can film videos. And also, I want to go for a very specific vibe with this channel. You guys seem to be enjoying it for the most part as well. So I'm happy about that. Of course, always looking for critiques and stuff, so you guys can let me know sort of your thoughts on how things are being handled on the channel as well. But in general, this whole year has just been, I don't know if it's been different for you guys, but unlike any other, outside of just YouTube stuff in general. And I'm trying to preempt this in a way. I don't know. I think that's really the big part of it, is just so much happened this year that I couldn't have predicted, And I think that there's something special about that. It's been a good year overall. I do want to make sure that I mention that. but it's just been so different because I am an introvert. For example, I tend to be pretty reclusive, pretty self-kept, but I also understand that as someone who's trying to grow a community here online, that there is some, not just satisfaction, but some responsibility, to be myself on camera for you guys, because I want to make sure that I represent myself correctly, accurately. That's probably the better term. And also so that when I am showcasing something that I've designed, you guys get a feel not just for the design itself, but the designer and the process of creating that model for the first time. Whether it's my feelings about what I've created or you sort of brainstorming along with me. These last few days with the Bar Magna project have been so different, to, I guess, tie in that theme from anything else that I've done in the past, just because it's kind of a communal thing now, and I mentioned this in a previous video too, so I don't want to harp on it too much, but a lot of the ideas that I've come up with in the past have been ideas that for the most part I develop, right? This, however, has sort of taken on a life of its own, where people have been like contributing their ideas and helping me world build this thing, even through just the notion of an idea, right? And so, like with the little flower petals from the Hero Factory line, turning those into like catapults and Thornax fruit holders and things, like little things like this that I never would have thought of by myself, but because I'm putting this information out there for you guys get to chime in, right? And it's like a brainstorming session in the form of video, and I love it because that never crossed my mind. My intention for making this channel was to inspire other people, but I guess I didn't see that could happen in reverse, right? That I would be inspired by the people who are engaging with this content, whether it's through the comments or through Discord, through Instagram, and elsewhere. And it's been so incredible and completely out of the realm of prediction, because I don't know what to expect with this stuff. I've always been the type of person to keep a relatively small group of friends, a small following online. Yeah, Instagram's been decent for me, but nothing like this. And I think that's the other thing too with Instagram, the difference between it, if you wanted to know, story time, I guess, right? But it's just that it's a lot more reserved there than here. When I post something here, people put their say out, probably because I also encourage that. But on Instagram, when I post something there, I get a lot of people saying like, "Oh, this is really cool" or something like that. But there's never the feedback. You know what I'm saying? Like there aren't as many people there that are like, "Hey, it'd be really cool if you did this thing," or "Are you going to take this in this direction?" But that's like first and foremost what is on you guys' mind here, and I love it. The same with Discord as well, just because people are coming to the Discord from here. And so the conversations that start here in the comments and stuff often end up going on over on Discord between myself and commenters, or even between the commenters themselves. And I get to sort of watch as they brainstorm something, and I see how exciting something like that is. So yeah, goals 2024. I don't know that I have any, like I do, obviously. I want to continue to make Rahi. I don't have like a specific threshold in mind. I usually make like 20 to 30 a year, but it really just depends. Just like every other passion, there are certain lulls in the year where I just don't, where I run into writer's block, if I want to call it anything, right? It's not that I can't think of an idea, but I just don't have that spark, that wherewithal to just get up and go. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's everybody. Sometimes we have creative runs where we just, I don't even know, just pack a whole bunch of crap into a few days, right? I've talked about like some of my fondest memories when it comes to designing things, where I've cranked out like 3 different designs in a day or more. And I love that stuff. But if I had to do that every day, I don't think I'd have a brain anymore. It would have melted. So it's like, yeah, in terms of goals for 2024, honestly, it's just YouTube is probably first and foremost. It is number one right now, because I love growing this community, and we're obviously growing quick as well. We just passed 1,870 subscribers. We're going to be at 1,900 soon, which is insane to think about. And on top of that, I'm doing something that I love. Yeah, YouTube is not gonna be my livelihood or anything like that. I'm not making enough money to survive on it or nothing like that. But in part, it's so exciting. It's thrilling, and I never thought it would be, because as I've mentioned, I didn't start doing YouTube for the passion of doing YouTube. I started doing YouTube to supplement what I was already passionate about. And so as I've grown older, as I've started to learn more, I've learned that YouTube is honestly, it can be, I should preface this, can be so freeing so long as you utilize it as the tool that it is. And don't try to treat it necessarily like a business, or treat it like, if it doesn't do this thing, I'm going to quit. I'm surely, we've all been in places, and I have to imagine that the algorithm's been friendlier to me, kinder to me than most. But I think in part, I've also played to the strengths of the channel and what resonates with the most viewers as well, while also trying to balance it with what I'm happy producing, and also moving in a specific direction, right? And it's been fun. So I don't really have anything else to say, honestly. Surely I'll end this video and then I'll think of a goal for 2024. But in all, I don't have anything else to say. I think that's going to be it for me, guys. You guys have a good, wonderful, happy New Year's Eve. Hopefully, if you guys are, going and shooting fireworks or whatever it is that you do on this New Year's Eve, just be safe, practice responsibility. That sounds so weird. You know what you're doing. So, and then of course, outside of that, just make sure you are subscribed. It really does help out the channel. And of course, as always, you can check out Discord and join the conversation, or check out Instagram, join the conversation in the comments, or support the channel on Patreon, get some perks, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.